Hey, today's shave is going to be with this Frank shaving brush. Haven't had it too long. It's a Silvertip. Want to get it wet. Squeeze the bristles to fit it down in this glass cup. I prefer a little soak in a cup like this instead of just running water through it, but that's just me. The blade we're going to use today is my Nacet that's so old. 50 dots on the back side, 34 dots, 33 dots right there. So 84th use tonight. The soap is going to be my second use of October's Sunday Funday Extravaganza, which is Cold Fall Morning by Dr Jon soaps. And I liked it okay last time. It did have a little bit of cooling effect. I'm going to be watching out for that. The scent wasn't super strong, but it was strong enough to be known, to be felt during the shave. That's important to me. The cooling effect really is the make or break thing. This is the kind of scent that I would relish in cold weather, because it would warm me up and make me feel warm things. But if it's got a cooling effect inside that's very strong at all, I'm probably going to pass it on to somebody else. So it's been used once. I'm trying it again because the razor I used yesterday was a little bit on the aggressive side and kind of just roughed my face up a little bit of irritation. So I wanted to give the soap a fair shake with a better blade and razor. The razor is the Bradley razor by Karve. It's a Canadian company, and a gorgeous brass razor that's bead blasted. It's not polished. The Nacet has already been loaded inside, and this is the E plate. Let me verify that just to make sure. Yep, this is the E plate, which is the second most aggressive base plate that this guy makes. All right, so I'm going to use kind of conventional means to whip up a lather, but first I'm not going to do any kind of pre-shave kind of routine except for a couple of splashes of water. That's just to get my beard wet, get those hairs wet. Brush has been soaking for a few minutes. So I'm going to take it out. I'm going to turn it at about a 45-degree angle. That helps the water to drain, accelerate the draining process a little bit. And there we go. We're going to load for about 20 seconds. Yesterday I loaded for 30, and I ended up with about 2 or 3 more passes of lather that I didn't use. So let's see, when it gets to the 10, there we go. And we will go until the 30-second mark and just see. This is a Badger brush, just like the one, similar to the one yesterday. Almost done here, and there we go. So not a whole lot. That's what the brush looks like. Let's just see, is that going to be enough lather to do the job? I am not as versed in lathering from the puck as I am. I like to scoop with a 1/4 teaspoon measure. Most soaps, that's either a good amount or a little bit more than you need. And so I just have a chart about which soaps don't need quite as much, that kind of thing. But I wanted to get better about the lathering from the bowl, right from the tub. Here's my lather bowl. So let's just start right away. You know, the sweet fragrance of the maple syrup is not, of the syrup is not quite as evident as it was before. There's a pine smell, he said, was in there. Didn't really smell that the first time. This Frank shaving Silvertip is a very soft, poofy knot that's very comfortable on your face. So if that's what you're looking for, then it's one of the ones that would be a good buy. The knot itself is, I don't know, $25, $28, and then you can put it in whatever handle you want. It's looking pretty good. The lather's whipping up pretty quickly. I'm gonna take my medicine syringe, you know, from kids medicine, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of water. I think last time I ended up adding just a teaspoon and a half, so I may add slow after this point. Dr. Jon's is a vegan soap. Doesn't have the beef tallow. I'm not a vegan by any means. I just like good soap. So if I find a vegan soap that's good, then I'll use it. Something almost chemically is coming up there. I don't know. The coffee and the syrup smell were really kind of dominant before. Not quite getting those same notes now. Kind of strange. Yep, we're getting a lather pretty quick. Take a look at it. You see how jagged, that's a little jaggedy right there. Not very smooth around those peaks. It's very fixed, it's very firm. Let's add water to that. That's a little too dry. Also, if you're stirring around in a circle and the lather is building up along the lip here, sometimes that's a sign that you need to keep adding water. At least with the way I like my lathers built. I like them to be slick and wet. If they are too dry, relatively speaking, sometimes they make great photos. Like you can, boom, you know, take a picture of that or whatever. But they don't stick to your face quite as well. They don't bond to your skin. And so therefore they don't protect it and give it that nice slick layer that we want. Refill my syringe. So we've got, in addition to whatever was in the brush at the beginning, we've added 2 teaspoons to the soap now. Looks like we're going to have enough lather to do the job, so that's cool. With 20 seconds might be a good time. And it is going to depend on your brush. If you have a small brush versus a big brush, a synthetic versus a really soft poofy badger like this, those synthetics, or a firm boar that's got a lot of scritch to it, or even a badger that's that way, may take less time because it's harsher and able to dig more into the soap. From the looks of it, I think I need to add a little bit more. See, it's not really sticking up on the walls quite as much. It's a thin layer up there, so it's starting to come down. Still plenty of volume, nice sheen on it. You see that piece right there moving just a little bit. Starting to get some elasticity thanks to all that water. We can kind of bring the lather down to the bottom of the bowl and kind of pull up. Look at it. See, nice and long, nice long peaks right there. the floppy nature. It shows some elasticity. Those are traits to look for as you add water so that you know when to stop. Figure out with your particular soap and your particular preferences where you like to stop. Because maybe where I want to stop is before you do or after you do. Maybe you like a really thick lather and you're fine with maybe it not quite bonding to your face quite as much. At this point, let's do a little finger test. And I don't want that handle to just dunk down in the bowl. Looks like it's going to do it anyway. All right, there we go. Oh yeah, medium amount of cushion. I can just barely feel that there are ridges on my fingertips. And so, you know what? I'm going to add just a little bit more water. Probably just go with it. I said a little bit. I went ahead and added another half teaspoon. So in addition to what was in the brush, I've added 3 more teaspoons of water. Good thing is I know that Dr. Jon's can take it. It's a very good soap. Some soap starts to break down if you add too much water, but the good soaps don't. They'll hold together, still give you a nice slick lather. Maybe it won't have the body that you want. Maybe it doesn't have the thickness, cushion, and creaminess that you want, but it'll still hold together and give you a nice slick shave. Yeah, this looks good. I'm glad I added that. So let's look at the peaks, kind of get it all down to the bottom, pull up. See that collapse of the bottom one? Sometimes that's what you look for. This guy's thin and a little floppy on the top. Let's go ahead and shave with this. I'm going to rinse my face one more time. All right, as usual, we're dealing with a 1-day growth, which is not much, but it is enough to shave, and I like that because I like shaving every day now that I've got fun stuff to do it with. The Frank Shaving Silvertip, I haven't used this one too many times. It's not as soft as the Golden Nib Premium Silvertip. But it's definitely a nice brush. But I think the Golden Nib is pretty much the same price, so I don't really see any reason to buy the Frank when you can get the TGN, the Golden Nib. It looks like we got plenty of lather down there, so I can go down and get a little bit more. But I'm going to save my complete judgments on this brush until after I've used it about 20 or 30 times. Because the tips do change, they soften up a little bit. So we'll give it a fair shake. All right, nice thin layer on me. You don't have to have a big old Santa Claus layer. Now let's just see, with the 84th use, we're getting older in the blade's life. Certain razors no longer work very well for me with this blade. I have to choose some of the more aggressive ones. I can't remember. I think this guy's still okay. Let's try it out. That's okay. A bit of bumpiness, but cutting fairly well. It's definitely not breezing through it like a young blade does. But the second and third passes are usually very, very nice with this razor. And this is a lot nicer than the Dart that I used yesterday. And this was the polished Dart, the machined Dart that has a matte looking finish. That was a favorite of mine. But it's right on the edge of tolerance with me with aggression. And I think the polishing action must have changed the geometry of the head just a little bit to push it over the edge, and I wasn't really able to ever find a good comfortable way to shave with it. And we're going to rinse this off. Alright, so this is a very nice lather I've made here. Kind of right along in the, let me show you, I mean, a great sheen to it. Look at that. Remember those peaks and all that bunch of peakiness that I showed you right in the beginning? Well, see, this looks more like a light bulb, but it's got like one peak at the end where I pulled it away from the rest of the lather. That's a good way to, and if you look on the top there, I had that top peak right there, but see how it's just flopped over? Those are some things to look for to know when you've got a good lather. Very shiny, but I don't know that shiny necessarily means a good lather. But it's pretty. This does not have a lot of backbone. And that's all right with me. Feels nice. I don't need a lot of backbone. I prefer the kind of the more luxury feel of the lower backbone brushes. This one still does not compare to the golden nib yet. We'll give him a little bit more time. Cross grain shave now. Nice. I do feel the blade a little bit, but it's very controlled, and I mean it's nice. Very nice shave here. When I say I feel the blade, in this case, what I really mean is it's really almost like the feeling of just a credit card, you know, moving across your skin. Yet it's cutting well. And there is the second pass. Go to rinse. Unfortunately, the soap's been kind of absent from the shave. And when I say that, I meant to say the scent. I get a good whiff of it when I have my nose in the bowl. Yeah, looks like my ratio was pretty good, 20-second load. I still got maybe 2 more passes in there, maybe even 3. So I do like to have a little bit extra after the shave. Very smooth here because it's already been shaven and knocked down pretty well. Comfortable and smooth. Even my neck area. There we go. And I'm going to rinse. Okay, now I'm going to do the usual three. I've done the usual 3 passes, and now I'm going to do just my neck as my half pass to finish up. Doesn't take much. Now for the, I usually try to be a little bit more strategic in my direction and stuff on the second and third pass. This time I was just kind of being casual with it a little bit. So I'm gonna be very intentional now about my technique around my sensitive right here. The hairs just, I don't know, they just seem to lay really close to the skin, and so they're really hard to get. And my skin does not like against the grain passes. Over here on this side of my neck, it's no biggie. You'll probably have things like that too, where certain areas of your skin you just don't even have to worry about. And others are your problem children. Well, I've still got a pretty good shave. There's still a reasonable number of hairs over here where I can see the tips and I can see some length on those. Some of them are cut flush, but there are some that are not. Maybe another touch-up pass will get rid of some of them, but who knows, maybe next time I'll try a little different technique, maybe be more thoughtful, something like that. But I'm happy right now with a comfortable shave. The last few nights have been with that polished dart that I was evaluating, and so my face was just had a little irritation afterwards. So good soap. I'm really happy with my mixture. It did feel nice and slick as I was rinsing it off each time. The scent was lower this time than it was last time for some reason. My mix was a little thinner because I loaded for 10 less seconds. Is that the reason why? I don't know. But the scent wasn't really as present with me during this shave. I mean, maybe even just like a 1 out of 10. Sometimes I could really not even tell it was there. Sometimes it surprised me, like, oh, I finally smelled something. So, but this could be good if you're a kind of person who has sensitive skin and can't handle heavy scents. Maybe this is right up your alley, right? Because it's a great performance soap. It's going to last a long time because it's a nice hard soap, semi-hard, and it gives you a good lather, and it's able to take a lot of water if you want to do that too. So yeah, about 1.5 teaspoons of water was added to what I initially had in the brush as well. And today we're going to use this old school Nivea I got as a part of a purchase, and I've used it once already. Try it out. Let me, I don't know if you're supposed to shake it up, but let's just play it safe and do that. Nice scent to it. I think it might have a little alcohol. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Nah, ingredients are not on the bottle. So there we go. Feels good. No stinging or anything like that. All right, here's that Frank shaving knot after I kind of stropped it on the towel a little bit. The edges have not, the tips have not gelled, and I'm fine with that. I don't think I really like the gel tips. Put him up here, big old poofy knot. And I did start to, as I smelled the bowl at the end, I did start to, you know, remember and smell and be able to pick out the coffee and syrup, you know, type scents from this soap. But man, this particular shave, for whatever reason, we had spicy Mexican tonight. I mean, does that play into what your nose is used to smelling? I don't know. But it just was kind of weak tonight, weaker than last time for sure. And so I might just, I like stronger scents, and there are a lot of strong ones out there. So I may have to pass this one on to somebody who maybe needs the weaker scents because of sensitive skin issues or other things like that. I didn't really pick up on the cooling factor like I did before. Maybe a tiny bit of menthol in there. I didn't pick up on that at all this time. Maybe I picked up on a little bit of the pine in the beginning. But toward the end, I was coming back to the coffee and the syrup. And I do like those scents. I just wish they were stronger. So, cheeks, very nice. I'd say 91% baby butt smooth without going against the grain. Can't go against the grain on my neck. Gives me too much irritation. And this is a good shave. There's still just you know, a few spots where it just didn't quite get close enough. But we'll leave that for another day. I didn't want to bother my skin because of my recent irritation. So we'll try again tomorrow and see what happens. So pretty good. So I'm pleased to say that this shave had no irritation. Face feels great. That aftershave lotion is maybe old, but it still works, and I like it. So there we go. I hope this helped you in some way. Dr. Jon's is a good product. I may not like this scent, but there are a whole lot of his that I do like. Take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Have a good night.